What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up, world? I am Bernard Damon Holcomb. Welcome to the Damon Speaks Show. This is season 1, episode 14, and we have a very, very special show planned for you guys tonight. First of all, I wanted to honor the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Today is MLK Day, and he was such a force for good, such a force for change, and his life was taken. He was assassinated, and he died way too early. One of the reasons why I believe, and others will tell you, that he was such a threat was that he was bringing poor white people and poor Black people together. We are still fighting racism. However, there's also the economic problem. You know, there's the top 1% and then everybody else falling under that and struggling under that. So I would like to take a moment, just a short moment of silence, just to honor the life and the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King. All right, thank you for indulging me. So this week, today I received word, and the word was, be nice to yourself. Be nice to yourself. Be nice to yourself. You can actually use it as a mantra. I will be nice to myself. I will be nice to myself. There's a lot of people that are judging themselves. There are a lot of people that are torturing themselves. There are a lot of people that are destroying themselves because of things that they did in the past, or maybe even things that they're doing now. But I want to encourage you, each and every one of you, and as I'm encouraging myself, to have a little grace. So you messed up. Everybody messes up. So you did a bad thing. Everybody has done a bad thing. What I want you to do is sprinkle a little grace on that thing. As you love yourself, I know it can be difficult. As you start to be nice to yourself, I know it can be difficult. I believe that things will get better. That's what I believe for my life. And that's what I want you to believe for yours. Also, I want you to know that you don't have to take everyone's advice as concrete, as the gospel, as the Bible, per se, for your life. I have run myself rampant and ragged, listening to everybody else's advice, listening to what everyone else thought that I should do, and trying to take the whole chunk of the thing and place it into my life, even when it didn't feel right. Even when it felt like maybe it was something that I shouldn't be doing, I always tried to take the whole thing. You cannot eat from everyone's table. You may be allergic to chocolate. You may be allergic to mango or whatever it is. So I want to encourage you this week to think about this, is to take what you can use and then discard the rest. You may hear something from me that really resonates with you. You may also hear something that doesn't resonate with you at all. Take that resonates with you and hold on to that and let it start to develop into your own thing, into how you want to feel about yourself and how you want to live your life. You are not responsible for other people's feelings. You don't have to continue to be a receptacle for everyone else's ideas. How do you want to live your life? A lot of us have been told that we cannot trust ourselves. And maybe we couldn't trust ourselves in the past. But I want you to know tonight that you can start to trust yourself. It's time to start to trust yourself and to ask yourself if this is something that is right for you. If this is something that feels good for you. If this feels like the path that you should be heading down. Now I'm going to say, everything's not going to feel good. Everything's not going to feel great. And there have been those times where something didn't feel good, but it still resonated with me. I was like, oh, conviction. This is the way that I should be going. So Those are my thoughts. Like I said, we have a very, very, very special guest, a very special show. Do me a favor and write in the comments. Tell me hello. Let me know where you are watching from. Tell all your friends. Share this because we're going to be having a great show tonight. For some reason, StreamYard doesn't let me see all your comments. So if you feel like I'm ignoring you, I'm not. I just can't see your comments, but I still love you. All right, here we go to the rest of the show. Tonight, we have financial coach Kristie Johnson. I'm not going to belabor it anymore. I'm going to bring her on the stage.
Hey, everybody. Hey, thank you, Damon, for having me.
Why are you so beautiful?
You know, I just had to do a little something extra because this is at my bedtime.
Hey, Marty. Marty said, hey.
Hello, Andrea. Thank you so much for having me on the show, Damon. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Hey, Andy. Thanks for tuning in. So, Kristie, tell us a little about yourself. Where you from? Who are you?
Sure. I am from Memphis by way of Detroit. I moved to Dallas about 10 years ago. I cannot believe it's been 10 years, but I moved to Dallas about 10 years ago. And I can honestly say it has been one of the best decisions that I've ever made in my life. It is a great place for opportunity. It is diverse. And you know, you can save a lot of money because it's a whole lot of areas where you can do staycations, right? I graduated from Tennessee State University with a bachelor's degree in sociology. Go Tigers. And you know, I've changed my major, you know, a couple times, and then I finally committed to sociology. And then from college, I began to work in different nonprofit communities. I worked with disabilities and special needs. I worked in career and employment services. And for the last 8 years, I have found my passion. I have found my love, which is financial coaching. And financial coaching is allowing allowing financial coaches to help people work toward their financial goals that would improve their financial outlook. And I like to use this as an accountability partner. I am your partner in helping you accomplish your goals.
I love it. I mean, I have studied life coaching. I've kind of put that to the side as things have developed through the pandemic. It's just like a financial coach.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. And let me make this clarity, Damon, if you don't mind. Let me really describe what financial coaching is and what is not. Let's say I come to your door and I'm knocking on your door and you're looking through the little peephole and you're like, do I want to let Kristie in or not? And you say, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and let her in. And you open the door and I swing the door open and move you out of the way. And I'm like, oh my God, Damon, this sofa is hideous. Where did you get this thing from? And this rug, the texture is awful. What made you buy this stupid thing? And those curtains, they don't even match your sofa. Why did you buy that? And you're standing there, you know, you're embarrassed, you're ashamed, you're feeling guilty. That is not financial coaching. This is financial coaching. I knock on your door and you're looking through the peephole to determine whether or not I want to let Kristie in my finances. So you said, I'm going to open the door. So you open the door. Is it okay that I come in, Damon? Sure, Kristie, come on in. Damon, that is a pretty interesting sofa. Give me the story behind it. Those curtains, that's an interesting pattern. What made you choose those curtains? And this rug, the texture is a little bit different than what I'm used to. Give me the story behind it. What's with the what's with the rug? And so financial coaching, it is a client-driven process, and it allows clients or people to have that aha moment that instead of buying that $300 unit, that they're going to put that $300 in savings or pay down debt. And so it's just an opportunity for clients to have their aha moment, and they drive the bus, they drive the wheel, and I'm just kind of navigating them along the way.
I love it. I love
Yes.
it. I think that people can be afraid of coaches. People can be
Yeah.
afraid of getting help because they think that someone is going to come in and just barge in and tell
Yeah.
them they're doing everything wrong and judge them and
Absolutely.
you shouldn't have done this and you're a
Yeah.
terrible person. But you're saying that's not what it is.
That is not what it is. And if you're working with a coach and they say you should have, you could have, you would have, you gotta, that is not coaching at all.
Wow.
Thank you. Interesting point. Good point, Damon. Yes.
I do what I can.
Yes.
So tell me, how important is mindset / mental health when dealing with your financial coaching clients or just our finances in general?
You know, dealing with the mindset or just, you know, I like to parallel that to like your self-limiting beliefs. A lot of us have self-limiting beliefs that has paralyzed us, to be honest. Our self-limiting beliefs they paralyze us in a way that what we believe, we cannot get past that belief. And your beliefs actually shape your behavior, which also shapes the outcome. And let me say this: that our mindsets, our self-limiting beliefs, they are shaped by, they're influenced by our environment. They are influenced by our friends and our family. They are influenced by our upbringing, and all of those things. Those are just a few things, but all of those things really shape how we handle our money, and it shapes how we think about money. You know, I can tell you about a client I had, and she was the youngest of several siblings. And she would always, of course, get the hand me downs. And she said, as an adult, that she made a vow she would not wear nothing used, that she made a vow that she would always get something new. And so when she made that vow, of course, she went into debt trying to do that every time she got paid. Same thing with a family who grew up poor, never really had a Christmas. And then you have those people that really go out of their way when they become parents themselves. They go out of their way for their children. They carry that debt because they didn't have that Christmas. And so we have mindsets that have really shaped the way that we handle our money. And sometimes it can be detrimental to our finances, and sometimes it can be lessons learned through those upbringings and through those friends and the environment.
Mm. I'll
Yeah.
tell you, that upbringing thing is serious. When
Yes.
I was a kid, I remember I was just a child, but I
Mhm.
remember our family always being concerned about money. There was never enough. It was a lack mindset. That there was like no abundance, and both my
Yes.
parents,
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
we were middle class. They were
Hmm.
always working, but there was always some debt or some credit card or something. And so the way that worked out in my life as I became an adult was it was either feast or famine. I was either holding everything so tight because I didn't want to lose anything, and because I didn't want to know what it felt like to like want something, or I was just spending and feeling guilty about it, getting what I wanted, getting everything I wanted at one time,
Hmm.
and feeling guilty about it.
Hmm. Hmm. And going into debt doing it.
Going into debt.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so if there's someone that's dealing with these mindsets and limiting beliefs, how do we start to change that?
You know what? When I work with clients, I first of all focus on the fact. What is the fact? What's factual? What is truth? And we're not going to look at the myths or stereotypes or traditions. The traditions also can hold people hostage or in bondage, but I focus on the facts. What are the facts? If you tell me that I don't make enough money to save, what are you basing that on? And when you actually sit a person down and you actually do their budget and or create a spending plan, you get to see where their money is going. So let me give you this story. I was working with another client who felt that she didn't have enough money to make ends meet. Sat down, did her budget. We learned that she was literally spending $600 eating out a month. And the way we got to that scenario is that I did an analysis on her checking account to see where her money was going, $600 of that was going to eating out. And I posed a question before I did it. I said, so what do you think your money is going? She says, you know what? I can say I'm spending money eating out. How much do you think you're spending money on each month eating out? Oh, about $250. Oh, when I did that spending analysis, it was $600. She was floored. So, you know, I think sometimes we don't really want to be real with ourselves. But when you sit down and look at the numbers don't lie. It's black and white. And you can literally figure things out just by looking at your spending, your habits, your checking. What are you spending your money on? That's where your heart is.
Kristie Johnson. Kristie Johnson. This is why we need financial coaches.
Absolutely. I agree.
It's so easy for us to go according to the traditions. It's so easy for us to be in denial. Sometimes we're in denial because we're trying to protect ourselves from something. I don't believe it's always a bad thing, but you need someone to come in and shine a little light and say, oh, look at those curtains. $600. Like, I'm not telling you that there's something wrong with you for doing it, but just let's look at it. Let's look at
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Uber Eats, Grubhub, Senior. Can I tell you that is getting a lot of my monthly budget? It's getting a lot of my monthly budget. So, okay, let's say
let me say this also, Damon. Now, if you can afford it, then there's nothing wrong with it. If you can afford, oh my gosh, Carmen spent $800 per month on food. Good Lord.
Listen, I spend probably more. Hey, Cody. Hey, Wayne. Cody said traditions can be the worst. Let's go with the facts.
Yes, go with the facts.
So if you support it, it's okay.
Truth and facts. That's what we're sticking with tonight. Did you hear the story about the person with the mother and the husband and wife with the pot roast? Have you heard that story? So the husband and wife, the wife was cooking dinner. Husband was, just kind of in there while the wife was cooking dinner. She cuts off the ends of the pot roast to cook the pot roast, and she puts it in the pan. And so the husband says, so why do you cut the ends of the pot roast off? And she says, well, we have to cut the ends off in order to cook it. And he said, well, where did you get that from? Well, I got it from my mom. So he calls his mother-in-law, and he says, such and such told me that, she cuts off the ends of the pot roast in order to cook the pot roast, but she got the tradition from you. She says, well, I don't know why we did that. And so he says, well, let me call, her grandmother. So he calls the grandmother and he asks, why, do you cut the ends of the pot roast off to cook it? You don't really have to cut the ends off to cook it. And he says, well, she says, I did not have a pot big enough to cook the pot roast, so I cut the ends off so that it could fit in the pot. And so that tradition was passed down from generation to generation, and nobody knew why. So that's not a fact that you need to cut the ends off the pot roast to cook it. So we're going to stick to the facts, and we're going to stick to the truth, right?
That is powerful. That is so powerful. How many of us are walking around with a cloud of guilt over our heads because we're not able to live according to these traditions, putting ourselves in debt, getting loan after loan, Christmas after Christmas. We're in January. People are still paying off Christmases from 1989. And more debt this Christmas.
Absolutely. Now, I'm going to make this clear. I'm putting this disclaimer out there again. If you have planned it, that's different. If you plan your Christmases ahead of time, that is very different from spending all of this money that you already know you don't have. But if you plan this, if you plan it, Carmen, plan at $800 a month, eating out and can afford it, that's different. But if you are living paycheck to paycheck, you have no business spending $800 a month eating out.
Now, okay, this is something that has held me back because I think, okay, I can't spend $800. Again, feast or famine. So if I can't spend $800 a month going out or ordering food, then I'm in deprivation mode. And I don't want to live my life like that. Like, what if I get hit by a bus tomorrow? I didn't get that Chipotle thing that I really love. So how can we come with a plan, like develop a plan, but also not feel deprived?
So I think that everybody has something that they're working on. They have some type of financial goal that they want to accomplish. I can use myself. I want to purchase a home. If that, now, mind you, your financial goals are going to you're going to always have financial goals. However, they're different seasons for your financial goals with the amount. Like once I purchase that home, my next financial goal won't be that big of an amount of a financial goal. So when you're in that season of a financial goal, you just have to figure out what is important to you. That $800 a month food bill, how does that support my financial goal? That $800 a month food bill, what else could I have done with that $800 that will support my goal? Now, let me say this. I am a spender by nature. I am a spender by nature. So I literally have to put forth the effort to control my spending habits. Okay. So because of that, I have to go the extra mile to not overspend because I'm a natural spender. So what am I saying? You're going to have to put those barriers in place that's going to help you reach your financial goal. You can do stuff in moderation. No one's saying to completely stop eating out. You're definitely setting yourself up for failure. Don't do that. But do it in moderation.
Because I'm going to eat out, okay? I'm going to eat out.
Eat out. Do it in moderation. But what is your financial goal? What are you working toward? And how much of that eating out is going to support your financial goal? I'm going to tell you this. I had this client. She said every time she went to that to the speaker to order something, when she went to that fast food restaurant, she said she would always hear my voice. Is that a need or is that a want? So again, is it a need or is it a want? Yes, Brittany Smith, you got to stop eating out. Is it a need or is it a want? Brittany Smith, does that support your financial goal? Again, in moderation. I'm not saying completely to cut it out. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying do it in moderation. If you don't have any money going to your savings account, you have no business eating out. I'm just going to put it out there.
All right. First of all, hey, Cynthia Lynette, Brittany Smith, the people are in the building.
Yes, thank y'all for attending. Sitting in.
Said, delete Uber Eats.
Delete Uber Eat. I like that.
Oh, God. All right, guys. I would love for you to start sending in some questions. We got our first question from Kenneth Baker. Could Kristie discuss at what point she changes her focus away from the budget side to the income side? At what point is the spending no longer the issue and we simply need to find a way to earn more money? Come on, Ken, come through with the question.
I like that, Ken. That's a great question. Let me tell you this. When I sit down with clients and we actually do their spending plan, if we got more going out than we do coming in, there are only a few things you can do. You can increase your income or decrease your debt. That is all you can do. So once we can figure out what needs to be done, then we can focus on the next part, which is either bringing in more income, or decreasing debt. And so it just depends on the direction that the client wants to go in. So those are the only two options: decrease debt or increase income. Then we're going to focus on increasing income and coming up with some other ways to do that. Decreasing debt, we're going to come up with a debt management plan and see what that looks like, because it's different for everybody, because everyone's situation is very different. And that's what financial coaching is. It is a very individualized approach to managing finances.
What did I just tell you guys at the beginning of this broadcast? If you didn't hear it, I was saying you can't eat from everybody's table. You can't take everyone's advice. So if you see people on social media and they're telling you like what they did, that may not fit with you. You need an individualized plan.
Absolutely.
Individual boundaries according to your life.
That's right. One shoe don't fit all.
Okay.
Look, as a matter of fact, that's why there's so many different budgeting plans. You can do a budgeting calendar. You can do a budgeting app. You can do pen and paper like me. I'm not an app person. I need to write it down. You can do Excel. So you have to figure out what works for you and your household and stick with it. It's going to take some trials, but you got to figure it out. And that's part of the process, figuring it out. But once you figure it out, it can be done. Absolutely.
Jennifer says, I've only ordered out once during the pandemic. Go ahead, girl.
Jennifer. Let me tell you, Jennifer she is we would like to say she's the poster child of the pandemic, because a lot of people has used this pandemic to eat out. So they have used that to their benefit.
What's up, Kenny Scott? Teach
the
people. Come through and teach the people. Oh, this is just such great information.
Eat out too.
So I think that it's helpful. It will be helpful for people to know a little bit about your testimony and some of your struggles as it relates to finances. Absolutely. Being a single Black mom, you know, living in Memphis, Tennessee. Mm-hmm. Tell us a little bit about your story.
You know, I think that's why I'm so passionate about what I do. Is because I have been in very similar situations that my clients have been in. You know, I've been in the payday loans. I filed for bankruptcy. I've lived paycheck to paycheck. And I am very transparent with my clients. And I always tell them, do not put me on a pedestal because I'm sitting across from you. Don't do that. I am human just like you are. And so I have shared a lot of my testimonies with my clients. And I think that is what has been successful in me reaching my clients, is because I am transparent. But I will say, as I said earlier, it is a process. It is a process, and it doesn't happen overnight. You know, I have clients who are just starting the budget at age 40. Well, if they've been doing something for 40 years, it's not going to happen in 2 days. So it is a process. It's just
good. You're talking good.
Okay. It's just like riding a bike. And I'm speaking for myself. Okay. I'm speaking from my own experiences. It's just like riding a bike. You're on that bike. You're learning how to ride that bike. When you first learn to ride that bike, you fall off a couple times. You know, you get a couple of bumps and bruises. You fall off. But the more you practice riding that bike, you then are able to learn to ride without falling. However, there are times even after you learn how to ride the bike, that you fall off. So my company, we had this little, outing where some of us wanted to go bike riding. Some of us wanted to go walking. I was like, I'm going bike riding. I get on that bike. I'm bike riding. And y'all, I haven't ridden a bike in so long, that long and that far, that my legs were weak. They were shaking. I was like, I got to go back to my starting point. So I get back to my starting point, and I try to get off that bike. My leg was shaking like this. I got off that bike, Damon, and I literally fell. I tumbled over with the bike. So what am I saying? It doesn't matter your age. You still can fall off. But guess what? I got my butt back up, and I got back on that bike. Ooh. So it doesn't matter the age. You still can fall off the bike. Get up, get up, get up, get up. Don't stop. Just like that budgeting, you haven't budgeted all your life. That's okay. Get that spending plan in place. Figure out what budget works for you. Not what works for Damon, but figure out what budget plan works for you. App, pen and paper, Excel, and then start that process. It's not going to happen overnight. And that's what I tell my clients. When we sit down and do a budget and they've never done one, you know what? When you start plugging in those numbers, if it's too much, back away from the table. It's okay. It's the natural reaction to have anxiety when you're looking at these numbers and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe that I am a negative $300. That's because you never sat down and did it, but that's okay. We're going to look at those numbers and we're going to figure it out. We're going to come with a plan.
It can be so overwhelming.
It can be.
Debt, thousands and thousands and thousands of debt.
Yes.
The saying, you know, how do you eat an elephant? It's one bite at a time.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, Damon. That's a good point. Yes.
You're doing a great service for all of your clients and for all the people as a financial coach because we need this. All right, we got another question. Brittany Smith, can you talk about the snowball strategy when trying to pay down debt?
Absolutely, Brittany. So one of the strategies that people do when paying down debt, it's called the snowball strategy. And so you would list your debt from smallest to largest, and you would pay off. I'm sorry, let me back up. You would create your budget first to determine how much extra money you have to go toward debt. Okay. So you've determined how much extra money you have to go toward debt. You list all of your debt, list all of your debt out, starting with the smallest to the largest. So your smallest debt, you pay that smallest debt, including that extra money that you can apply to your debt. So you apply that extra money to the smallest debt, and you keep doing that until you pay that off. Now, all of your other debts, you're paying only the minimum because you're focusing on that first, the smallest debt. You're paying it. I mean, you're tackling it, and you're getting rid of that small debt. So you pay that off. So you take what you were paying on that first debt and that extra money and apply it to the next smallest debt. And you keep doing that until that debt is paid off. Now, there are some tools online that you can find where it will allow you to list your debt from smallest to largest, and it will give you the time frame as to when you are going to have all of your debt paid off. It's some really good tools out there. So you can do that. And then the debt avalanche, that is when you list it by interest rate.
So you
So
want to take care of the debt that has the
the
largest.
highest, yes, the highest interest rate. But again, you have to do what works for you. Like me, for me, the smallest amount works for me because the largest debt, I'm sorry, the highest interest rate might be a very large balance. So the smallest debt for me, that's what works for me.
Do you find that the snowball strategy works for a lot of your clients? Do you suggest it often, or is it another one of those things like this may or may not work for you? You still have to find your own like thing that works for you.
Yeah, I've had a few clients that really liked it and actually stuck with the plan. But again, it's a process. It's a mindset, and you have to put forth the effort to make the change.
Mm.
Um, because Damon, you know what I've learned? That it doesn't take any effort to swipe a card. You know what I'm saying? You can swipe all day. It doesn't take effort to do that, but it takes an effort to look at your bank account to know whether or not you have enough money in your account to swipe that card, or to know whether or not if this swipe was in the budget. Was
Mm.
it budget worthy?
Mm. Come
Yes.
on now. That's why it's important to have a plan.
I
Uh,
know.
Cody says, I've always been told that the only real thing we have control over are our expenses, aside from picking up a side job or whatever. So to Kenneth's point, should we prioritize saving / reducing expenses versus trying to get our money up?
So, Cody, that's a very good question. Um, and it just depends on what your goal is. If you're prioritizing saving or reducing expenses for home ownership, then that should be the priority, in all honesty. But if you're just trying to get your money up just to because you want to save $5,000 for an emergency fund, you just have to figure out what your financial goal is and then determine which one is a priority for you. So if you want to save that money, get that emergency fund, then yes, getting that money up is important. If you're saving for a home, or you want to purchase a home within the next couple of years, then prioritizing that saving and reducing expenses is important. So it just depends on what your financial goal is. But that's a very good question, Cody. Thank you for asking.
What are some things that you've seen your clients do as side jobs, as what passive income ideas?
There was a couple that actually started renting their room. They had a couple of extra rooms out for Airbnbs. They started doing that. I've had a couple of people that pick up the Uber, the oh gosh, what's the other? Lyft and Uber. I had someone who started baking on the side, baking cakes and cookies. Um, I had another client that actually he made an invention, and he's in the process of launching this. It's a pacifier, but it's on the wrist. You know how you would have it clipped on the person, the kid would have it clipped on the bib and it would always fall off. Well, this is a wrist thing and they can suck the pacifier and it's got the retractable thing. Yes. And so he created that. And it should be hitting the market here. It might have hit last year. Let's see. I've had other clients that bought the food cart. They bought food carts.
Mm-hmm.
They sell on eBay, Poshmark, and those are basically the only ones that I can think of right off the top of my head. But yeah.
Talk to me about hustle culture. You know, there may be someone that's like, I have a lot of debt. I want to get it down. I need to hustle. I need to hustle. I need to hustle. Meanwhile, the hustle that they're picking up is taking away from their family time or it's taking away from living their lives. So how do people find balance when they're trying to also hustle? Like, is hustling healthy to a certain point?
You know, I'm going to always drive it back to whatever the goal is. Because again, your hustle may only be for a season. You know what I'm saying? Your hustle may only be for a season. And is that a hustle that maybe you can involve your family in? You know what I'm saying? Is that something that the whole family can participate in? So just keep that in mind. It's only for a season. And going back to what Cody said, if it's only for a season and you're hustling and it's taken away from that family time, if it's only for a season, are you saving? Are you building your money? Are you stacking your money? What are you doing with this hustle? I mean, what is the overall goal for the hustle? And that will determine that'll determine the outcome.
Ooh, that just brought me a little peace because I often think that it has to be either or, like either I'm just chilling or either I'm like hustling. But it can be incorporated and integrated with the plan that I sit down with my financial counselor.
Hey, yes. So what is your goal for your hustle, Damon?
Oh, come on, put me on the spot.
Bless us tonight.
As of late, I have taken on really an entrepreneurial spirit. And so I have a roommate, but as I go through the next year or so, maybe 2, but the next year, really, I want to be looking at getting my own place here in New York City and possibly having 2 bedrooms so that I could have, either a studio or if my mom needed a place to come and visit or whatever, that's where I want to be putting my focus.
And you could also increase the income if you do have that second bedroom for an Airbnb,
Let me sign up for a session right quick after this.
Come on.
Everybody watching, where can we find you? Like, how can we get in touch with you? Is there an email? I
do have an email address and I would love to share it. You want me to put it in the chat? How would I do that? Excuse me. But I am definitely open to helping people figure out where they are with everything. And did I do that right? Yes. So it's Miss Kristie J at gmail.com.
Come on, Miss Kristie J at gmail.com. Paulette is in the room. Paulette pressing toward perfection. She said, DSW, I rebuke you.
Yes. Well, the question for you, Paulette, is how many shoes is enough?
Ooh, come on, come with the fire. Jennifer has a question. She says, when cutting back on expenses, it's helped me to dig a bit deeper into why I'm spending.
Yes, Jennifer. Yes.
Is it because I'm being lazy? That can be fixed. Is it because I need it or is it because I want something new? I try to find self-love ways to supplement spending in order to not go into a poverty mindset of denial. Come on, Jennifer, you really preaching the word tonight. Often financial success or a feeling of deprivation is a mindset fueled by our emotions.
Your emotions will lead you astray. I will tell you, you know, excuse me. I'm so glad Jennifer said that, because a lot of times our spending is fueled by emotions. I was talking about that person, that their upbringing where they didn't have that Christmas, or you may have someone who may be trying to live a certain lifestyle. You may have someone who feels that they're trying to fit in. What they call it, the Joneses, trying to still, or they may even be living beyond their means. All of these things is really, I'm so glad Jennifer brought that up, because you have to be real with yourself. Real with yourself. If you're still in denial, as if, I only eat $300. I only eat out $300 a month per month. When you, in essence, eat $800 and you're not really quite ready to come to terms with that, it is a downward spiral to debt, really. And y'all, Damon got me under all these lights and I'm hot. hold on a moment. So
take your time. Take your time.
Thank you. Thank you. So yes, you do have to you have to dig deeper to figure out why you are spending the way you're spending. What are your influences? Who influenced you? What influenced you? Did you see your mom? Did you witness your parents overspend? Did you witness your parents live paycheck to paycheck? Were the lights cut off? Were you struggling? Or were you participating in the household finances? Did you write checks out for mom? Did you take the bills to the post office and you mail those off? I may have mentioned some of the negative situations that people may have had with regards to influences, but there are some positive things that people may have embraced as adults that they have learned from their upbringing. Maybe they don't want to be like mom and dad. Maybe they don't want to be like their friends. Maybe they don't want to be like the Joneses. And I remember I had went and looked at a house, and they were it was a new build, and they were building homes in Frisco. Frisco is a very high-end elite area, suburb of Dallas. And the person was talking about how people are building the homes out there, but could not furnish the houses because they just wanted to be in Frisco. That's sad. That is sad.
What kind of life is that?
None. You can't live that life.
Mm-hmm.
Stressed. It goes back to it's you just can't. You can't have a successful marriage. You can't be a successful parent. You know what I'm saying? Living that type of lifestyle. Just imagine you're stressed out even before you get into the house,
which you're supposed to be enjoying.
Yeah.
Is that the right email I put up, MissKristieJ@gmail.com?
Yes, that is correct. Thank you.
So when it comes down to spending and emotions, it's kind of also like the food thing for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's like eating to fill an emotional hole that cannot be filled with food. There's an emotional hole that cannot be filled with shopping or money. Like you will spend $1 million and still not feel fulfilled.
So what is it about the shopping that brings you joy? Or what is it that brings you joy about that?
I think for me, it's the excitement. It's feeling like this is about to get real deep. Okay, let's go.
Okay, go there.
Because for so much of my life, I was told that I was an other. For so much of my life, I was bullied relentlessly. And so to be able to buy something that I really want makes me feel like I'm a part of the world. It makes me feel like I'm a part of the Joneses, like I'm just as good as everybody else. But that was never built and that was never made to make me feel. That's no kind of foundation to build self-worth on, or to build
Mm-mm.
self-confidence on, or to build self-love on. Come on, somebody.
You preaching to yourself. Look at you, coaching yourself. Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
Woo!
Yes. And you know what? You have to figure out what that trigger is also, Damon. What is the trigger that causes you to go shopping? What
Mhm,
happens before you actually do it?
mhm.
But I'm so glad that you identified that tonight. I really am. Now, do you mind if I share one point of escape for you with that? So
Please.
I had a client, very similar situation. She suffered from bipolar uh, and depression. So she said whenever she felt an episode come on, she would go to Walmart, and she would go to Walmart and overspend. She was on a fixed income. She could not afford it. And she knew it. It was in black and white. We went over it. We saw it on paper. So this was our strategy. I hope nobody works for Walmart that's on this call, but this was our strategy. She's going to go to Walmart and put all that stuff in a basket and walk off. It wasn't about buying it. It was about the experience. It wasn't about swiping the card. It was just the experience of going to Walmart, putting all this stuff, fueling that episode of hers,
Mhm.
and that's how we managed it. Of course, I encouraged her to continue to see her therapist, but from a coaching perspective, so that she would not swipe that card.
Mhm.
That's exactly what we came up with, and guess what? It worked.
Now, talk to me. Suppose it hadn't worked. Like, a lot of us have issues around failure, around falling off the wagon. And it's like, if I fall off the wagon, then F it. I'm just not going to do any of this financial coaching. I'm going to cancel my coaching with Kristie. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm just going to resolve myself to live this life of debt and misery. How do you deal with clients that have trouble finding the way that works for them?
You know what? I remind people, what is your why? That's what we start off with. What is your why? What is your goal? If you give up today, if you give up right now, you're not going to reach that goal, because financial coaching is the person, you're on that treadmill and you're running and you're walking, and you like, you know what? This is the third day. This is January the 3rd. Your resolution was, I'm going to lose weight. You go to that gym, you're on that treadmill, and it's the third day. You like, I'm done. And I'm on the other treadmill next to you, like, no, you're not. You said you wanted to lose 50 more pounds. You got 40 more to go. Let's go. Let's go. Keep it up. That's what your financial coach does. It is your accountability coach. It puts you, it makes you, they remind you of what your why is. You want to purchase a home. Why? Because you want stability for your children. You want a safe
Mm.
home for your children. That's your why.
Mm.
You want to build an emergency fund because if there's another pandemic, you're going to be ready. That's your why. I want to pay down debt. Why? So that I am not drowned in credit card debt. I'm not drowning in, student loans. Yes. What is your why? I just go back to the why. Go
Oof.
back to the why.
Oof. I love.
Yes. What is your why?
I definitely struggle with feeling that failure feeling, and feeling like I messed up this one time, so it's never going to happen for me.
Oh, Jimmy.
But if I go back to the why
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
remind myself why I'm actually doing it, and then that causes us to dig a little bit deeper.
Deeper. Yes. Jennifer says, think of it as a financial lifestyle change. Take the timeline off of it and keep trying. That's just like people on the keto diet. It's a lifestyle change of different eating habits. It's the same thing with your finances. Absolutely.
Mm.
Absolutely.
So time, it can take time, maybe coaching. Like, there are all these tools. If we look at it like a toolbox, there are all
Mm-hmm.
these tools that are available to us to
Mm-hmm.
live a better financial life.
Yes.
Uh,
Absolutely.
uh,
Absolutely. Yes.
uh,
Yes. Yeah.
Oh,
What
that
is your why?
this has been just fantastic and wonderful. I want to take a little shift because we're almost to an hour. I'm gonna take a little bit more of your time, but I feel like it's important for people to hear.
What? Wait. We only got an hour? Hold on.
No, we can go as long as you want to go.
Oh, okay. No, I don't want to hold. Look, I know people can be, zoomed out or virtualed out. So I'll be respectful of people's time.
Listen, you and I are having this conversation. We can stay here till midnight, but I know you
Okay.
want to go to bed. Um, when it comes to finances, actually, let's stay here for a second.
Okay.
I remember you building a house from scratch, like having a house built, and it was just you and your daughter. You're a single
Yeah.
Black mom living in Memphis, Tennessee. What was your mindset? Like, did you always think that you were just going to be able to like build a house and live in something new?
No,
Get there?
no. I'm so glad you brought that up, Damon, because as a single parent with the income I had at that time, I qualified for programs that helped me to build my first home. And so I took advantage of those programs as a single parent. Um, However, you have to, it's all about the mindset. It is all about the mindset, because even with that program, I still had to come to the table with a certain amount of savings, a certain credit score. I had to still maintain positive financial habits during that process. So all of this, it is a shift. And I knew that I wanted to raise my daughter in an environment that was safe, and that was her home. And so that was important to me, and that was the goal that I set out to do. And so, can single mothers do it? Absolutely, we can do it. Is it hard? It's not easy. So I don't know what the opposite of easy is. It's not easy, but can it be done? Absolutely.
Wow. Did affirmations play a part in you shifting your mindset?
You know what? I am doing affirmations. I'm doing more affirmations now than I did then. Yes. And affirmations are very important. If you need to put them on your mirror in the bathroom, put them in the mirror. If you need to put them in your vehicle, put them in your vehicle. If you need to put a notification on your phone about my affirmation time, put it on your phone, because they are very important.
I love
Affirmation,
it.
absolutely.
Brittany has a question. How do you not overwhelm yourself? How do you take small steps to your financial goals?
That's a good question. Um, it goes back to what you were saying. You cannot eat the whole elephant at one time. And with your financial goals, it is literally one step at a time. So when I meet with my clients, we come up with that goal and we decide the action steps along with the time frame.
Mm.
So, you cannot save $5,000 by next week if you only make $3,500 a month. So it is going to be action steps. And with those action steps, there will be time frames. There will be, what your time frame is that you want to reach that particular action step. So we take off those small bites with the action steps. That's how we do it to accomplish the goal.
I love it. I love it. Be in it for the long haul, Jennifer says, one step at a time. I will tell you, I am a future tripper. I struggle with seeing things like far off. I love to live in fantasy land. I love to think, about all the things that I want to have, and I want to make it happen right now. This happens in relationships. This happens a lot in my life.
Mm-hmm.
So it will be good for someone like me to really focus on taking it one step at a time. Slow and steady wins the race.
The race.
How
And
many times have I been banging my head against the wall trying to do it all at once, and it's not working? I'm getting frustrated. I feel like I'm failing, and then I just go in this hamster wheel cycle. Why don't you slow down and make actionable steps and a plan that I can follow?
The SMART goal. Absolutely. The SMART goal.
Come on.
Specific. Yeah, I'm sorry. Specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time bound. We want to make a SMART goal.
Congrats, Paulette. Come on, take control over your spending.
Yes, let's go, Paulette.
That
Congratulations, because that's a big deal. Really, it is.
is a huge deal.
Yes, yes,
So again, if anyone wants to book a session with you on the financial coaching side, they can just email MissKristieJ@gmail.com.
yes.
All right.
That's me. Absolutely.
So people may not know this, but you are actually my cousin.
Whoop whoop.
I love very much. And recently, in the WhatsApp group chat, you pop up with an engagement ring and a picture with this man, and it was like, what's going on? In my mind, I'm like, what's going on? Because the last thing I heard when we talked, you were like, oh, he's just a friend.
He's just a friend. He's just my friend. Yes. Yes. He's just my friend.
So
Yes.
show us this engagement ring. Come on.
Let me see. Let me see.
Come on, bling bling.
Wait. You know,
Yes.
he did good. So I will say, James and I were friends. We've been friends for about 12 years, and we dated on and off for the first couple of years. And then I moved here to Texas, and he moved to Louisiana. We met in Memphis, my hometown, because he was living there also. So he moved back to Louisiana. I moved back to Texas. I moved to Texas. Now, James and I, we remained friends the entire time. We never missed a beat. And I will tell you, there were times, even in the midst of this 12-year span, that he pursued me, and I was like, nah, I'm good. And so I will honestly say, through a marriage, he got married and divorced. And he was like, you are my wife. That man was in hot pursuit. I'm talking about hot pursuit, y'all. And I shared with Damon before the call. I was like, so much so, like there were days I'm like, not today, James. Please, not today, not today. And so, but needless to say, I gave in. But I'm going to tell you what blessed me. This is because James and I, we would visit each other even as friends. James and I were good friends. We would tell each other we loved each other even as friends. There was no friends with benefits type of situation. We were literally friends. So he's pursuing me, and I'm like, James, I just don't really like you like that. I like you as a friend, and I don't want to mess up our. Yes, I did tell him that, Damon. Was I not supposed to say that?
Honesty. No, a lot of people would.
I was like,
in these situations,
no. I just like you as a friend. You're such a good friend to me. I don't want us to lose a friendship. You know, we try this and it don't work out. But in actuality, the man he's a good guy. And I knew this. And I'm like, well, let me just introduce you to somebody. And he's like, Chris, you know that's not going to work.
Hold up. You were like, I do not like you. I just want to be your friend. Because a lot of people get context clues and they're like,
no,
they're not being direct. You were direct with this man, and he still did not give up.
No, he didn't. So I'm going to tell you what my friend, she posed this question. She said, okay, Kristie, so line up all the guys that you have dated. Now, mind you, James has known about all the guys because we were good friends. He knew about my relationships. I knew about his marriage. So my friend says, Kristie, line up all the guys you dated, you know, on the line. And and mentally got them all on the line. And she says, okay, so of all of those guys that you got, you know, on the line, who's most trustworthy? And I, you know, answered it. And then she says, well, who do you think would have a monogamous relationship with you, a monogamous marriage? Answered the question. Who is going to drive and encourage your relationship with God? Who would God be? Who would God approve you being in relations with? You know, every question she asked me, it was James. And I was like, but I just don't get that tingly feeling. I don't get that tingly feeling. She says, and what did the tingly feeling get you in the past? I'm like, okay, all right. She was like, you have to understand that relationships are not built on tingly feelings, because the tingly feeling will go away. You already got the foundation. Give it a try. I was like, you know what? You on to something right there. And that is exactly how it happened. I think we had that family Zoom call in October, no, September. We were a couple in October. When I was telling y'all, we just friends, we just friends. But no, I had to take a step back and really look through a different lens. And I'm so grateful that he and I have been friends all of these years, because as Paulette said, I think Paulette said that friendship is friends first is, oh my goodness, I'm so glad he's my friend. I share so much with him. He shares a lot with me, and we just have built it on a really, really good foundation.
So honesty, I, I'm a very jealous person. So if there was someone that I was like interested, I don't know how he did it, how he stayed the course, like through all these years. He must have just known, like, all right, Lord, like this is the one, this is what I want. I'm
So I'm
gonna.
going to tell you, my aunt told me yesterday, she says, Kristie, do you know that James told me back in 20, whatever it was, 2011, 12, that he was going to marry you? You were going to be his wife? I was like, no, I didn't know that. And here we are, full circle around. We came full circle, right back to where we were supposed to be.
How did you manage a friendship over all these years and through several relationships? Like you're a male and female friendship, so I'm assuming that girlfriends or boyfriends may not be cool with you, especially an ex being
Yeah.
friends with your ex. How do you manage that?
You know what? I have friends of the opposite sex that James hasn't met yet, but he will. That's our rule. If we have friends of the opposite sex, they will meet our mates. But I respected James when he was married. And he respected me when I was in relationships. And so our friendship was managed a lot differently than when we were not in a relationship or when he was not married. And so we really gave each other that space, and we respected each other's, relationships and marriages. And so you just have to have that trust. You have to have open communication. And I was never jealous about James. I would always ask about his wife or the people that he was in a relationship with, and he with me also. So we were truly, truly friends. But in the back of his mind, I think he knew what the end result was going to be. So,
Even through a marriage.
mhm,
The thing I've struggled. That's my favorite word for tonight. Is struggle. I have wrestled over the years with the idea of friends before we are lovers. However, I think because of that sure foundation, like you actually know that person and you actually want whatever is going to make that person happy. A lot of people say that they're friends. A lot of people try to attract people just because they want someone around. They're afraid of being alone. They're afraid of never getting married. They're afraid it's not going to come true. So they shuck and they jive and they hide and they lie and they manipulate, trying to form a friendship, trying to form a relationship. And there's really no foundation. Like the bottom falls out every time. And that's why people are walking around in marriages miserable.
yeah. And that's why you can't be moved by the ooh and the ah and the butterfly and the You can't be moved by that, because that's going to go away. That's the honeymoon stage, really. You can't be moved by that. And this is just my opinion. I think that you should definitely date the conversation, but don't give up the goods until you know the guy. So, um, because you are clouded, your decisions are clouded when you give up the goods. You don't really have the ability to think with a straight level mind, because now you're focused on what they can do in the bedroom and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Um, mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tell me about time. Like, did
Mm.
you expect to be married before now? Were you getting tired of waiting? Were you like, God, where's my husband?
Yes, yes. I was really tired, but you know what? God's timing is perfect, and and I'm so glad I waited on him. Good Lord, I'm so glad I waited on him, because had I married the person that I thought I was going to be married, I would have been miserable. I would probably have been cheated on. I would have been competing with social media. And so, I would have been dealing with dishonesty. And so I just think it's important to really just wait on God's timing. It is hard. It is hard, but you got to get out of your own way and just wait.
What did you do in that waiting period? How did you keep hope? How did you keep faith?
You know what? I was just raising my kid, um, living my life, traveling with my friend girls, trying to grow strong in the Lord.
Wow.
But just focusing on you, doing you.
I love it. I remember what I was going to say. I didn't mean to go there then, but I'm going to go here now.
Mm-hmm.
I love me a good tingling in my belly.
I know you do. Yes. Yes, I think we all do yes.
And my story, come on, Cynthia. Marriage is meant to be a joy and not miserable.
Yes, that's right.
And enjoy life at any stage. I'm here for it.
So that tingling, that ooh and ah.
I love the ooh and I love the ah. Now, my story is that I felt so ugly and so undesirable because I was so bullied that any person that came up to me and was like, I like you, I was like, all right, let's go, let's do it, whether I like them or not.
Yeah.
So I found myself in situations also where I was trying to save someone else's feelings because I didn't want them to feel the rejection that I felt on a daily basis.
Yeah. Yes.
It never worked. And so I don't want to resign myself in my mind, talk about mindset, to a life where I have to be with someone that I don't really want to be with. And I had a situation recently where I was like, oh, this is what it's supposed to be like. This is what I would want, a relationship to feel like. And I don't want to settle. Did you ever feel like you were settling because you didn't have the tingly feeling? Did you have the tingly feeling when you and James first started dating? Like, I feel like you have to be attracted to the person, right?
Yes, you do. Let me say this. Love is not a tingly feeling. Love is the decision to love someone, because the tingly feeling is just for a moment. The tingly feeling is not going to last. So you have to make a decision to love someone, even when the tingly feeling is not there. So I have a friend that bounces from relationship to relationship to relationship, because when the tingly feeling is over, the honeymoon is over, she falls out of tingly, falls out of like. And so that's why you cannot be led by the emotion that we were talking about money, but you can't be led by emotions with a tingly feeling when it comes to relationships, or the feeling. I'm sorry. Yeah, the feeling when it comes to relationships, because it's just for a season. You have to make a decision to love.
So I think that the tingle can be something that brings you to that person, that attracts you to that person, but you can't base a relationship off of that.
Yes.
You have to be attracted to them. Yes. But if you see red flags, you can't be like, oh, but the tingle. Or
but let me say this, Damon, you have to determine what your attraction is. I have a friend, she will bend over backwards for someone who's intellectually and just intelligent. That's her attraction. Like, he can look like the bottom of the shoe, and if he's smart, she in love. So you have to figure out what you're attracted to also. She's not driven by looks or driven by the tingly feeling. Hers is straight intellectual.
I feel like there are lots of different ways. Like, there are people that are, bodies change. Things sag, things get wrinkly.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's better to base it off of something that's not the body.
Absolutely. That is correct, Damon. Mhm. Yes. Are there any other questions in the chat room?
Are there any other questions on tonight?
This has been good, Damon. I appreciate it.
This has been a fantastic time. Do you have anything other than your impending nuptials? Do you have anything exciting on the horizon that you're really looking forward to?
You know what? I'm not really. I'm toiling with some business ideas. My sister will help me with that, but I just right now I'm just trying to figure things out. Yes, got this upcoming wedding. We're working on the date and the like where we're gonna live. I just got so many things up before God right now that it's just a lot.
At what point should engaged couples discuss finances?
Oh,
Come
well,
on, Cynthia Lynette.
I'm glad you asked that. James and I have been talking about that, and I think it should be discussed before the marriage. And it's actually funny you should ask that. We're going to that's our next topic in our next premarital counseling session. And so I think it definitely needs to be discussed beforehand, and what roles, each person is going to play in that marriage. And so there should be no secrets going into a marriage about finances. That is so important. Now, you're talking about transparency. You got to be transparent, especially when it comes to finances.
I hear that a lot of marriages end not because they fell out of love, but because it's finances. They argue over money all the time.
Yeah.
How it can be spent,
Yeah.
where it can be spent.
Mm-hmm. So remember, I talked about me being naturally being a spender. So if I did not have that under control going into this marriage, that could cause this marriage to not have a successful marriage. You know what I'm saying? But I am, controlling my spending habits, and I'm respecting my marriage and respecting our household by, making sure everything is in control.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yes.
So again, we can email you at misskristiej@gmail.com.
Yes. Thank you so much, everyone. This has been fun.
Do you have a final word for someone that may be struggling with finances or love or anything that comes up to your heart?
As with everything, what, I was taking some notes that you were talking about. Everyone has done a bad thing in your finances, in relationships. Everyone's done something that they've not been proud of. But get up, dust yourself off, and start over. And it's the same thing with finances. Start over. You can say, I just a self-limiting belief. I just don't have enough money to even do anything with. That is not true. If you're not working, this is the time to meet with a financial coach, because you need to know how much money you need to earn on a job in order for your household to function. Mm-hmm. So people think that maybe I'm not working, I don't need to meet with a coach. It's important to know what you need to earn. So just start. That's my suggestion to everyone. My advice to everyone tonight: just start somewhere, whether it be with your budget, whether it be with decreasing your debt, whether it be, you're going to Starbucks 5 days a week, go 4 days a week, whether it be, what you're capable of doing, because you do not want to overextend yourself, or, as Brittany said, overwhelm yourself with a goal when you're really not ready. Start small, and it's okay to not be ready. But this pandemic should have shaken a lot of people, because one thing the pandemic has, well, not just one, but there are several things that the pandemic has taught me is there is a lot of inequalities in healthcare, inequalities in education, inequalities with just with vulnerable households or low income households. It has also taught me the importance of an emergency account, savings account, and the importance of not carrying a lot of debt. Pay that stuff off.
I love it. Paulette says, awesome information, Kristie. Thanks.
Yay. I'm so glad you enjoyed it.
This has been
Yes, thank you, Damon. This has been good.
Thoroughly enjoyed my.
So have I. Thank you.
You gotta come back, please.
I'd love to come back.
Maybe
James and I can come back and share our story, and he can give his side.
Kristie.
That would be interesting.
Kristie, are you available?
How about we? Well, can we get married first?
Okay. I was just gonna tell everybody in February, starting February 1st, I have a series of shows coming up about love. I love love. I love talking about love. So the show on February 1st is going to be a life coach. He's going to be talking about empaths and what type of relationship you could be in and your love style.
Yes.
February 8th, we're going to be talking to the singles that are out here in the dating game. We're going to be talking about the people that have had pitfalls. What questions should we be asking? What are the red flags that we should avoid? And on February 15th, I want to talk to the married people. I want to talk to the couples. I want to talk to the people that have been in it for a long time, maybe even weds. And then the following week, the last Monday in February, we're going to be talking to those that have been divorced. We're going to be talking about restoring yourself and being who you are. So
that's going to be good.
If you're interested in being on the Damon Speak Show in any one of those segments, please reach out to me. You can DM me on YouTube, on Facebook. You can also email me at damonspeaks411@gmail.com. I would love to hear from you. I'm always looking for new guests. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Next week, we have my friend Mia Boayu on the show. She's going to be talking about upliftment and encouragement. She just came out with a new blog that she's going to be sharing with everybody in the show. It's going to be a fantastic time. Tune in to the Damon Speaks Show every Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube and Facebook. Wherever you are, give me a like, give me a share. Let somebody know that this may be a show that they're interested in. I love you all. Thank you, Kristie, so much for tonight. All right. See you next week.
Bye, y'all.